to write concisely in literature essays. Concision, concision, concision. Hello guys, I'm Jen and I make useful English lit study videos on Shakespeare, poetry, fiction, literary devices and more to help you get top grades. So in today's video, let's look at one of the most important building blocks in the study of English lit, and that is how to write concisely in literature essays. So if you're a lit student, then you're probably no stranger to essay writing. In fact, what else do we do? Mastering the ability to communicate our ideas well is the first step to getting top grades in the subject. So make sure you watch till the end of this video to find out just how you can do this. Now, before we dive into the 4 tips, we'll have to quickly address the mother of all questions. What makes a good literature essay? In general, a good literature essay should check 3 big boxes, and they are conceptual clarity and depth, cogent arguments, and concise language. Often we think of concise language as being its own separate category because we tend to think of it as being related more to things like grammar, vocabulary, style, etc. But actually, concise language depends on us having attained conceptual clarity and depth, as well as having arrived at a strong, cogent argument about the topic at hand. So it's important then that we don't consider these 3 categories as separate, but instead as symbiotic levers which collectively contribute to a great literature essay. And with that, let's dive straight into our first tip for writing concisely. So at the root of unclear writing lies unclear thinking. In order to write well, it's not enough to be proficient at the language. It's also important that we understand our topic well and know what exactly it is that we want to say about it. What makes an essay top grade isn't necessarily the sophistication of our vocabulary or the accuracy of our grammar, but instead the depth of our ideas, the logical flow of our paragraphs, and of course, the persuasiveness of our argument. So before you put pen to paper, we have to ask ourselves, do we truly understand what the question is asking of us, and whether or not we are familiar enough with the topic at hand to write cogently about it? If not, then don't even worry about the actual writing. Instead, return to the text you're studying, revise more to develop a strong understanding of the key themes and ideas before you set to work on the essay itself. Another reason for unclear writing is being too generic and vague without points. Compare the sentence, "The poet uses metaphor to express her ideas," with "The poet uses metaphor to compare love with the blossoming of a flower, both being beautiful but fleeting experiences." Which one do you think deserves higher marks? Evidently, it would be the second one, because it's much clearer in terms of communicating what the poet's use of metaphor achieves, whereas the former statement leaves the reader with questions unanswered. To express what ideas? So for literature essays, where students often need to cite quotations from a text, engaging with the words in the quotations you've sourced can help you be more specific. Because, well, you're basically forced to home in on the specific details and to make a distinct point about them. So engaging with the meat of the quotations will prevent you from making statements that just skim the surface. Remember, being specific doesn't necessarily mean including lots of details. It simply means looking at the details of meaningful points to discuss. Quality, not quantity, is always key. By the way guys, I'd massively appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button below, subscribe to my channel and switch on that bell notification if you find this video helpful so far. This would really help me carry on making these useful English lit study videos so that you can get top grades in the subject and we can inspire more people to enjoy the study of literature. Good writing always starts with empathy. Let me explain. Most of the time, we don't actually write for ourselves. Apart from journal entries and lyric poetry, we're almost always writing to communicate to others, and therefore we're writing for someone else on the receiving end. So just as novelists write for a mass readership, students are writing for teachers and examiners. So make sure that while you're writing an essay, you also put yourself in the shoes of someone who is marking your essay. And if it so happens that your marker has already read 40 plus essays before getting around to yours, do you think they'd want to plow through long convoluted sentences rack their brains over waffly paragraphs just to figure out what you're trying to say? Well, even the most good-tempered marker would find this exasperating, right? And an exasperated marker is bad news for any student. So, help your marker help you by guiding her through your arguments step by step. And the best way to do this is to keep your clauses, sentences, and paragraphs sharp and focused. So if your first main body paragraph is about the transience of love, which is an idea, don't jump in halfway with another unrelated idea about the inevitability of death. Instead, leave that to another paragraph. Likewise, if your sentence describes a specific metaphor in one quotation, then don't lump in another technique or quotation in that same sentence, which is only going to distract your marker and dilute the impact of your point. Now, where possible, avoid filler words like the plague. What are filler words? These are words that don't add any value to your writing, such as intensifiers like very, extremely, incredibly, a lot of, unspecified nouns like things, stuff, something, or broad categorical terms like good, bad, positive, negative, etc. So a sentence that reads, "The poet makes a lot of very good points about positive things in life," is only going to frustrate your reader, because I'm going to think, a lot? Well, what are they? Very good points. What's so good about them? Positive things in life, which are? So to remedy this, we'll need to first address tips 1 and 2, because once you've developed a solid understanding of the topic and text, you'll then be able to source the right quotations to be as specific as necessary in your analysis, thus removing the need to stuff your essay with empty filler words, because usually when we use filler words, it's because we don't really know what to say. And there you go, guys, my top tips for writing concisely in any literature essay. Understand what the question is asking of us and what we want to say in response. Focus on the details of the text to be as specific as possible. Stick to 1 point per sentence and 1 idea per paragraph, and avoid filler words like the plague. So if you apply these tips to any literature essay you write, I'm sure you'll be on your way to top grades. And as always, if you found this video helpful, please do hit the thumbs up button below, subscribe to my channel, and switch on that bell notification so that you never miss a top grade English Lit Study video from me. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!